Hey, what's up, you amazing hackers? Hope you're all doing well today. So, first of all, today I'd like to talk about the OWASP top 10, and we're going to talk about A1 specifically. For this, I've prepared some code, as you can see here. I'm going to enlarge it a little bit. We have two endpoints, the /API /v1/resources/books and all. This is a resource to get all of the books. If we go to our Postman script right here and remove this identifier, this would be that get call to that specific URL. So as you can see here, we have a get call, but it says, we have to add all /all, of course. Now we see that we have some forbidden books, 1 and 2 are forbidden. Now we want to get those books specifically, so we can also do a get request to a specific book. And as you can see, we can get that book then. Now, the thing is that if we're going to do that, we're going to see forbidden a lot, because you can see here, it's just not going to work. We're not going to see what we need to see here. To see what we actually need to see here and to trigger our broken object level authentication, we're going to actually need to change the method to host, because of course broken object, the object here would be my book, and since there's a broken authorization on this object, that means that I'm authorized to see an object which I should not be authorized to see, as you can see here. So that's the explanation for A1. There are many different ways you can test for this. It's also known as IDORs, but of course in the API terms then. So if you want the code, if you want this specific example, there's going to be a coding example as well in the article. It's just a Flask example, really simple. You just install everything that's required, all of the requirements that are in the imports. You do pip install, and then you do Python, and then you do the name of your program. But it's going to be in the guide form as well, so if you want to try this for yourself, it's possible. This is how we do broken level authorization, or at least this is one of the possible examples. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next example. Hello amazing hackers, hope you're all doing well today. So we've made a login page to demonstrate number A2, which is going to be in here. There's several examples of these attacks, but the one I've chosen is that there's no CAPTCHA in here in my login page. This is of course going to allow bots to try and attempt to log into my system. That's not something that you want, so that's one of the examples. Of course, there should be rate limiting as well that would prevent credential stuffing. There's a lot of things that you can do, but of course in the article you will find a full guide of the things that can happen. But I wanted to show you real quick how it can look like. No CAPTCHA, for example. This is one of the A2 examples. Thank you very much for watching, amazing hackers. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. If we do this properly, of course. Hello amazing hackers, hope you're all doing well today. Welcome back to A3. So in this example, we're going to see excessive information disclosure. And what do we mean by this? There's an UI consuming this data from the API, and the UI is showing the credit card number, the user, and the validity date, which is something that's expected. The user is trying to look at their credit card data, but they should of course not be able to get their CVV. Now the reason CVC, is it CVV or CVC? I don't remember, but anyway, the reason that this is really important is because if there's a man-in-the-middle attack, this traffic might be intercepted, and even though the UI is not displaying it, the API is returning the data, which is the A3 excessive information disclosure vulnerability. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one, I guess. If I can quit my recording, of course. See you in the next one, amazing hackers. Hey, what's up, you amazing hackers? Welcome back to A4 now. A4 is going to be one that we've already talked a little bit about. This is the login system again. And in here we have a lack of rate limiting, which is going to allow attackers to keep on trying credentials over and over and over again, basically building a bot. And the fact that this one is also vulnerable to A2, where there's no CAPTCHA in here, that makes it even worse. So it should definitely have rate limiting in here. Every important resource, everything that consumes a lot of resources should have rate limiting. So think about which of those resources are important to you and which ones do need rate limiting. Thank you very much. This was the example, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, amazing hackers. Hello, amazing hackers. Welcome back. So A5, as you can see here, right here, broken function level authorization. It's a very vague one because, of course, there can be a lot of things that fall under this one. Now, what the basic gist of this is that humans are pretty predictable. Let's just leave it at that. And they might need to create something which should be openly accessible, but should not be easy to guess or should not be easy to see. But still, humans will be very predictable in their patterns. So in here we have an all books endpoint. This is our documentation, and this all books endpoint points us to the books as expected. And they also have an /admin endpoint. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to try a lot of things. They're just going to try /resources/admin. They're going to try /v2/admin. And of course, those are very valid strategies, but what we actually need here is, since they're working on a new version of the API, we need version 3, as you can see. So this brings us to the admin endpoint. Now this gives us a bad request at the moment because we're not sending the right request type. We should be sending a post request to this one. But this is basically the gist of it. We have a hidden endpoint which should be non-accessible to us. We should be getting a 403 unauthorized, but instead we can create a request. It's telling us bad request, which is expected in this case, because of course we don't have the correct parameters or not making post requests. We would have to dig a lot deeper into the documentation for this, or we would have to try a lot of things ourselves, like some parameter guessing or brute forcing. So this is basically what I wanted to show you guys, is that for your broken function level authorization, basically means that you shouldn't have access to this, but you do. So basically broken access control, but in the API flavor. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next clip, which is going to be A6, if I can stop my recording properly. I keep having this problem, terribly sorry guys. See you in the next one. Hello, amazing hackers. On to A5. So A6, of course. A6 is mass assignment, which means that if you're creating an object as a developer and you're creating the user object, for example, you might give the user a account type, and that account type might be user, normal user, because you might need administrators or site moderators or something like that. So what you'll do is you'll add the account type parameter. Now, when you're creating that user object, you might use generators, or you might be not thinking properly, and you might expose that parameter. As we see here, we have a call to the user endpoint, which is a post call, and it's going to change my user's settings. And I can put things in here which are pretty normal, like name, last name. These are all things for my account, but I can also put things in here which are really not good. Oh, sorry, I need to put it in my body, of course. So I can also put things in here which are really not good, like the user type. I'm going to open the JSON string first. I'm going to say user type double point. And of course, I forget to add my quotes, user type double point, and then I might have user as what I got back from the response when I saved my settings, saved the name change. In this case, I might have gotten back user type equals user. I'm going to copy it from my response, put it in my request, hit send after changing it from user to admin, and there we go. We have our vulnerability mass assignment, because when creating this specific user object, it exposed this user type, and even though it might never be used in the UI, even though it might never be visible, not even in a hidden parameter or anything, if it's visible in the response, you might be able to copy it over and you might be able to change it, which shouldn't be the case. That's going to be mass assignment. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in A6. Welcome back, amazing hackers. Hope you're all doing well today. This is going to be A7 security misconfiguration. And for this one, I'm going to keep it very simple, going to look at one of my previous challenges. As you can see here, we have a debug set to true, which means that you might be able to connect remotely to debug this. This is not good, of course, and we should always put debug to false. Simple as that. That's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's a bit short, but I will see you in A8. Hello amazing hackers, hope you're all doing well today. Welcome back. We're going to talk a little bit about A8 injections in this video. So as you can see, I have a very basic web page here for login with a username and a password, and this is a SQL injection that I'm going to demonstrate. I have the developer console open here because I changed the type of the input field to text just so I can show you guys what kind of password I'm using. And the SQL statement is going to read select star from users where username equals and password equals nothing or 1 equals 1. So it's always going to return true, always going to log in. And that's basically what's happening here as well. Very simple vulnerability type at first sight. But if you dig deeper into this, you're going to notice that injections are going to be very deep. Because recently, of course, cross-site scripting joined the injections force, but you have LDAP injections, you have SQL injections, you have CSV injections, JSON injections. There's so much things you can do with the injection category, but I just wanted to give you guys an example so you guys can have a grasp of what one of these looks like. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in A9. Hello amazing hacker, welcome back. Now we can't talk about A9 without showing you guys what it looks like. So here it is. I have a lot of systems in here. I have a lot of things that I am testing for APIs, and I have no management system. These are basically just random files. I don't even have a repository or anything. So of course that is a gross error, and I should always be at least having proper asset management, knowing what systems I have up and running on which ports, because if I ever do decide to use this server for real and I have some obscure thing running on port 10 or something, then I'm going to need to know. So that's what asset management is. I really need to know exactly what systems I have available, and I need to look at them properly, need to look at their version numbers and all of those things combined. So thank you very much. That was it for this one already, and we should move on to the next one. See you later. Hello amazing hackers, welcome back. We're going to talk about A10, and I already showed you this, but A10 is insufficient logging and monitoring. Now as for these specific APIs, I do have one log file, but it's nothing, and I also have the no hang up log files. But again, those are not really easy to go through. They're not segregated into separate log files, and I am not monitoring them at all. If an intruder tries to attack them, I think it's kind of expected on my laboratories, so that's why I'm not monitoring, of course. But you should always expect an attacker, and you should always monitor for them. It's that simple. Because now I'm just not monitoring. Maybe someday somebody comes along and he decides to delete everything from my system. I have no monitoring for that, so I would have to have some of you guys come and tell me, hey Uncle Rat, this completely broke. So that's something that I wanted to give with you is on A10 specifically. If you do logging, do monitoring as well, because you don't want to spend all of that money on the logging part and then have it go to waste without anybody watching. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in one of my next chapters. Bye amazing hackers.